Okay, folks, this is going to be one of the funniest stories you've heard in a long time. It'll make you happy and laugh all the way to work. Welcome to the smartest, the most active, and one of the largest audiences in the world. It is the 15th of March 2017, and guess what? It's the Ides of March. Nobody went after Trump. Gee, wonder what happened. Anyway, I'm probably the only one that can do this story. Of course, they're going to take me down to 0 hits, but it's worth it. Obama and his cartel are getting busted for drug use. And when Obama found out about this drug raid, he took a trip to the Caribbean to, quote, vacation, unquote. And when he found out what was going on, he ran for the hills. That's right. Obama has been implicated or busted in a huge drug bust. So what happened? Well, according to a lot of news sources, if we can get through the ads, that's cocaine. Venetian boat held in record-breaking drug bust at sea. What is a Venetian boat? St. Vincent is a little tiny island. Here's the United States. That's South America, and a little itty-bitty island right there. Teeny little island. Few thousand people on it. We're going to go out here in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean. There it is. Here's the United States. Here's South America, Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, that little itty-bitty island. And then this is Jamaica. And then we get down here into a little itty-bitty island owned by the Queen of England, part of the British Commonwealth. And they just finished building an airport owned by the International Airport Company, which is owned by St. Vincent and the Grenadines, which is owned by the Commonwealth, which is owned by the Queen of England. You see, it's not even in the United Nations. It's just an independent little itty-bitty island owned by England. And on that little bitty island, they just built a huge airport. And that huge airport owns that boat, the Lady Michelle. And the Lady Michelle was found with $125 million worth of cocaine, although the pictures indicate there was a lot more than that. Well, apparently the Bush, Clinton, Obama clan has been running these drugs out of St. Vincent for a very, very long time. And this boat was busted. So what happened? How did they figure this out? Well, apparently President Obama, Bush, and Clinton, when they committed treason and used the United States to build their drug empire, what happened was they made a lot of enemies. They killed a lot of people. And a lot of other people kept dossiers on them. And now that they're not in power, all of these people who have been killed had friends who didn't want to die and kept dossiers on them. And now, since there's new leadership, guess what? The FBI, James Comey, and all his cronies are coming out of the woodwork and busting these people. Now, we know that the CIA is considered the cocaine import agency of the world, and that the cocaine comes from the cocoa leaves down in, you got it, Colombia. It's no longer the marijuana importation capital of the world, it's the cocaine import capital of the world. That's why we've had so many soldiers down there trying to ensure that the cocaine imports continue to come in. So the Lady Michelle was busted with $125 million. That ain't $125 million, and that isn't as much as what's on there. We're talking about $1 billion or more of street value cocaine. That's a lot of cocaine. And the question is, what do you do with all that? Not only did they bust that ship, they busted the 12 TSA agents who were cooperating with the importation of cocaine. That's a lot of TSA agents. What do you do with all that cocaine? I mean, do you dump it in the bottom of the ocean and make the fish high? Do you bury it in a landfill so it gets in everybody's water? Do you redistribute it among the people within the TSA so they can get high? I mean, what do you do with it? Do you burn it with an 80% burn rate so everybody downwind gets higher than a kite? You pollute the soil and the groundwater? I don't know what you do with $1 billion worth of cocaine, but that is not as much as that. So some of it sort of disappeared when they took it off the docks, didn't it? Yeah. Anyway, TSA busted a massive $100 million, 4,000-pound cocaine smuggling conspiracy. And guess who seems to be behind it and went to Hawaii when he found out? Yep, you got it. Upon learning that Attorney General Jeff Sessions had ordered the arrest of this Bush-Obama regime, TSA criminal drug ring, this report details surrogates and accomplices of former President Obama vacationing with him in the Virgin Islands attempted to contact Guyana national Mohamed Nazim Hoseain. Well, guess what? He was on the ship and he got busted. You see, the U.S. simply shut that ship down in the middle of the Caribbean, and there they sat. There they sat. No water, no power, nothing. They sat on that ship, and then the Coast Guard boarded it, and they decided to tow it to the nearest port, because that's international law. Everybody on board's busted. So Mohamed Nazim Hoseain, one of Obama's greatest friends, was busted for importing cocaine. They're all in U.S. custody. They went to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and the authorities, which work for the Queen of England, proceeded to give them to the United States, because the United States Corporation, all of the estates are owned by the United Nations, which is owned by the Queen of England. So right under her nose, they busted it. The boat is owned by the Argyle International Airport Development Company. The Argyle International Airport Development Company is owned by the International Airport Development Company, which is owned by the island of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Amazing. Building this new airport for the smuggling of drugs included removing 3 mountains, 134 homes, a church, a cemetery, and filling 2 valleys. Unbelievable what they did to build this airport so they could import cocaine into the United States. Unbelievable. Forget the tourism. There is something much more lucrative afoot. It is whispered that recently cocaine barons have injected $400 million into a group within the Venetian government, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, for help with setting up an improved link into the U.S. of South American cocaine. There are 5 areas of concern for the South American investors. South American investors. That's correct. Everything's a corporation. You can invest in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. It's a corporation. The corporation sells drugs. Those drugs support the airport, which now is $400 million in debt. So they needed to import the cocaine to pay off the airport. So they had tight controls by the Coast Guard and everybody else. Well, guess what? It's over. They're all busted. We all know that the CIA imports the drugs, but there's a lot of people in the CIA that don't want to import drugs. They want to preserve this nation. And the idea of getting the entire nation high on drugs and then wiping it out, that's not something a lot of CIA members want. So here's President Trump in his first major attack on the cabal. Unbelievable. I love these things Sorsha puts out. And this is Sorsha. You want to criticize me? Go for it, CIA. Hey, I'm Gary Webb, author of The Dark Alliance. My book exposed the CIA smuggling crack into Los Angeles while the Reagan administration shielded drug dealers from prosecution. December 10th, 2004, I committed suicide by 2 shotgun shells to the back of my head. Any questions? I love these reports. Basically, folks, what's happening? And Obama will never see any jail time. CIA working with Mexican drug cartels. We all know what's going on. What's happening is a lot of the money coming from the cartel is drug-based. And the 45 people that run this world are now fighting amongst themselves. And those who are doing good for humanity now outnumber those who are doing bad. Out of the 45 people on the council, we think about 25 of them are now doing good. And those demons, aliens, draconians, whatever you want to call them, who came here to destroy planet Earth, are being obliterated. And the 20 left on the council who are importing drugs are losing their power quickly. Because this kind of stuff destroys humans. And nobody wants that anymore. Nobody wants that anymore. It's done. It's over. It's through. This kind of stuff is going away like the bathwater from a baby. I want to thank you for your time, folks. God bless each and every one of you. Pray that this continues and that these scumbuckets continue to get routed out. Obama will not see any jail time. He's currently in his underground base in Hawaii negotiating, so he doesn't see jail time. He was a president. There's a rule in America, past presidents don't see prison time. But he and the Clintons and the Bushes may be contained in an underground base because of their evil and appear every once in a while. I think we're on George Bush Sr., number 3. George Bush Jr. had a double, and he is number 4. See, there's no wart on his head. The number 6 has a wart on his head. The number 3 has a looks like cotton balls under his mouth. Number 5 has a little bit of an accent, but they're working on that. So I think this is Obama number 4. The cartel has to rethink how it's going to play Obama and Clinton. Anyway, thank you for watching. God bless and have a wonderful day. We love you coming, every one of you. We read what you want to know about, and many of you want to know about why Obama's not in jail. That's the number one concern. Well, guess what? His entire financial empire is collapsing. This happened 15 days ago, and it's finally coming out what happened. This initial bust was the 1st of March. A U.S. airplane flew over the boat, shut it down. The Coast Guard boarded it. They brought it to the island. They busted everybody. They brought the cocaine out onto the docks. Obama went to the Caribbean to find out what he can do for damage control. Found out they're looking for him. He took off to his underground base in Hawaii. They know exactly where he is. All of these political leaders are chipped. Every single one of these political leaders have a chip. They can find them 24/7. They, the White House, the CIA headquarters under Langley. I think it's the 10th or 11th floor underground. They control all of the They control all of the politicians. I think there's 38 floors under the Pentagon or under Langley. The Pentagon, I think, has 44 or something like that. It has to do with the 44th president being Barack Obama, and the 38th has to do with the 38 levels of security clearance for the super-duper top-secret space program, which you've seen all over this news video channel. Coming to you live, Barack Obama busted for drugs. God bless, and good night.